Sunday. Try to get my messages visible. Okay. So welcome back to Training Well Burros. We are glad that you're here with us. Let us know if you worked with your donkey today. What did you do with your donkey?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah. We worked with, Elton, 12, who, and the two new girls.
And yeah,
I think we have names for them. Oh, and then Richard.
there's a lot of donkeys I worked with today.
Yeah, we did work
It
with
felt
a
like
lot.
2. I would have failed that test. How many donkeys were with today? I'd be like a 2.
So what did you do with your donkeys today? Now, while we're waiting for comments to come in, we are going to talk about trust. And, sometimes I think a lot of people think that if your donkey trusts you, that's enough.
Right?
But it's more than that. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about, that trust. Now, you guys have heard me talk about the 3 C's, which are curiosity, connection, cooperation. But I'm adding a C, so it's going to be 4 C's going forward. I don't think I told you this,
But you're gonna.
but I'm going to. All right. So most people think that the goal is trust, and that's part of it. But trust, and that people also think that trust alone is going to make everything fall into place. But trust is just a piece of the puzzle, not the whole thing.
That's a big piece.
You should keep it on in case any
There we go.
comments come through. You can help see them.
There. Okay, I'm done multitasking. I can pay attention now.
Oh, good. All right. So we have donkeys right now, and this is something we haven't had happen too much, but they're willing to pin their ears back and run after us. Now, I was working with a client, and she was nervous, like, oh my gosh, what is that donkey doing? Now, that donkey was just wanting to play and didn't want her to leave. So it was running back after her or after me, whatever it was, and it was just wanting to play. So,
Yep.
but that's not always the case. Sometimes donkeys are just like listening behind them. They're not really pinning their ears.
Yeah. We've been riding before or working with your animals, and it's got its ears pinned back. It might simply just be listening behind them. But there's been times in the training pens where they're coming at you. Yeah.
That could be a little nerve-wracking when you're not sure what's happening. How did you feel? Have you had one come at you with its ears back?
I have. At first, I'm like, what's going on? Is this, am I under attack? Are we being playful? Is there a monster behind me and it's going to try and scare it away? So at first, I don't always assume I'm under attack. I'm frantically in a hurry trying to figure out what's going on and why.
And the rest of their body language plays a huge role into this. It's not just their ears. We have to watch all of their body language to really know what's happening.
Oh, yeah. And the circumstances.
That led up to it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. So when they're coming at you with their ears pinned back, you might just well have a pushy donkey,
Yeah.
right? One that trusts you or trusts you enough and it wants to be in your space, doesn't want you to leave, it wants to keep playing and getting attention or treats.
Yep. That can, luckily for us, it's a minority of occurrences with these wild donkeys, but we've encountered a few who they've amassed a good amount of trust. They sincerely believe we are not going to eat them, but they're a little short on the respect part. Maybe they don't understand the hierarchy of the herd, and maybe they slightly question that, yeah, we're equals, and so I'm going to tell you to move over there, or give you some gestures with their ears. So, and that's, with people you've coached, that can be a problem, particularly with a solo donkey.
Absolutely.
Especially like you hear about the bottle fed ones, or they got the donkey right after it was weaned, and it really hasn't had a lot of time to develop social skills in a herd setting. So in their mind, they don't know who really is the leader of the two of you. And so that's where some things like that can come up.
So then we have to create leadership, right? So we've already talked about curiosity, connection, and cooperation. But there's one more thing that's missing in this, and it's clarity.
Yeah, definitely.
So clarity is about space. It's about setting our own expectations, and clarity about what happens when boundaries are crossed.
clarity of expectations. Donkeys can't read our mind. They can read our body language and they can pattern us, but clarity, as in clearly make it clear what we're asking for.
Right. And that's the hard part with donkeys because we don't speak the same language. So we have to come to their level so that they can understand us. And when we don't do that, what we often get is a pushy donkey.
Yep.
So we work on, especially with the wild, or just a mistrusting domestic donkey, right? It would be the same thing.
Yeah.
Hoot is one that we bought, and she had like lots of love and treats and stuff like that. She's probably the pushiest donkey on the property.
Hoot or holler?
Oh, pardon me. I meant to say holler.
Or a 3-year-old juvenile delinquent mammoth donkey. Yeah.
And she just needs groundwork. Like, she's gotten so much better since we started doing groundwork, but I haven't given her as much groundwork as I want to.
She hasn't had much, and it's not. She'll come around just fine with some groundwork. She's just a kid who's never had a bedtime.
But that's like my point is when I started doing groundwork with her, she went from grabbing my ponytail and pulling me backwards or my
That's
hoodie.
right. I forgot about that.
So she doesn't do those things anymore, and it's from doing the groundwork with her. Now, she still needs more. Hannah was out in the pasture, and Holler was running after Hannah with her ears pinned, and Hannah's just like, I picked up a rock. I didn't know what to do. Like, oh my gosh, right? And Hannah's somebody who's been around animals nearly her whole life, like equine.
Hannah was not impressed.
No, it's not fun to have one chase you. And even if they don't have any ill intent, they can still hurt us. They're big.
Yeah, mammoth donkeys are big. Holler's getting big.
Even if they're 400 pounds, they're big. They can hurt us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, doesn't matter how big they are. They're big enough. So intention and teaching them clarity. We need to balance out the comfort that they have with us that we're trying to get. We want that, and we don't want to lose it. But then we need to balance it out with clarity. So that's where our groundwork is going to be a huge role, or make a huge role in teaching them the clarity of what we want. So sometimes they're plain. Sometimes it's not clear. Like, we have one that he will boss around other animals from outside that are even not in the pen with us.
Which one is that?
It's Elton. So
that's right.
Yeah.
He uses the force to move people 2 pens over. I forgot.
To move
Man.
equines. Yeah.
Yeah, move
donkeys.
equines from 2 pens away. Oh, man. Yeah.
So that's a donkey that has like a lot of confidence, and his trust with us, it's still building.
Yeah.
But we're going to be working on more clarity because he also thinks that with how much he shows that he will try to move other animals around us in a different pen, or will warn them to get away.
Put it this way, Elton does not have any self-esteem issues.
No,
He's
he
a
does
confident man. He's like, he's like he's just a confident guy.
Yeah, that's different than being just nervous. Now, I'm not saying he's completely comfortable around us.
No, but he's confident. He's secure in his own manhood. How's that? He knows who he is. He's a good guy. And to go off on a tangent, before this live, we were just reviewing, because we're like going around in circles on our different pens, and we actually don't communicate a lot more down our other. And I always say, honey, look what I can do. About Elton. And then you had suggested, well, I think it's time to do some clear the fronts, do some groundwork. So I think probably tomorrow, MaryJo is going to be, he's going to be getting leading practice with the flag, clearing the fronts. And we've seen in the past that it's gentle training. It's very gentle leadership.
Yes.
But it is establishing who is telling who to do what.
Remember, we create leadership when we make them move their feet. Now, that can be tricky with donkeys because they are so stoic and they really don't feel the need to move. And if they get nervous, they really are going to freeze up. So you have to go at their speed and reward the slightest try. But we have to be consistent, right? Because with their ears, all their ears can mean different things. They can mean that they're listening. They can mean that they're nervous. It could mean that they are wanting to play. It could mean that they're upset and they're going to attack.
Do you recall, I don't know which animal, maybe it was one of the mules we had, one of the crazy mules. There was some ear spinning back when we went on to Google and we started talking to Mr. Google, and we came up with, they can
It was
also do that.
Seamus.
was it Seamus?
Yeah.
When they're very like positively focused and intent on something, like if they're concentrating hard, they'll put their ears back.
I reached out to my mentor about it, Ty,
Yeah.
because Seamus, I would move him into pastures, different pastures and stuff, and then he would run after me. Now we can like sort, like we can pretend like we're a cow and sort cattle, and he'll pin his ears back. So that's where my mentor explained that it can be because they're intently focused on something.
Yes. So in two instances, I do know as we're talking, I remember this was Seamus and you reaching out to Ty, and before or after that or around the same time, Doodah, the Molly mule. Remember she used to get those Jar Jar Binks ears going back, and we were kind of, why is that? And it was
Was
just
hers just being cautious, like nervous?
we never did figure that out, but we learned that they could be just being very focused.
Yes. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't understand because they think ears pinned means aggression, and that is not always the case at all.
And I understand how people come to that conclusion that ears pinned back is aggression. Well, we've watched horses, mules, donkeys pin their ears back and kick or bite the buddy next to them at the feeder, and you see teeth come out. Just usually ears are pinned back. So as humans, we see that. We kind of, for me, it used to be, I'm like, oh gosh, they have big teeth. I don't want to get bit.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we go deeper, there's a lot more underneath, a lot more layers underneath there. I'm just looking at my notes so I don't forget.
Well,
this
you're
stuff.
looking at your notes, talking about his ears pinned back. Holler, the donkey mammoth, the juvenile, the 3-year-old we were talking about, who needs a lot of help with her manners, and she'll get there. She's not allowed to have her ears pinned back around MaryJo and I. We don't tolerate that. But if the sun is right and I'm bringing the hay out to the feeder, I can see her walking behind me, and I can see in the shadow behind me that she has her ears pinned back. If I stop and turn around, her ears go forward. I wasn't doing nothing. So
Wasn't me.
wasn't me. So I think in that case, since she knows I can't see her, she's probably just really focused on that hay getting to the feeder.
Yes, she wants it. She's determined.
Uh-huh.
So determined could be another word to use for that.
Yeah, it's like, stop pulling that wagon and start with the hay. I'm gonna wait till we get, so.
Excuse me. So when you're handling somebody or your donkey having their ears pinning, we have to handle it, and timing matters, okay? Because if our timing is off, we can actually make things worse. And if we go deeper in that in the memberships, guys. So if you're looking for extra help with that, we will talk more about that in the members. But this is for a general overview because we are here to help everybody, right? But some people maybe they're dealing with that and they want extra help. So there's no pressure. It's just if you want that. So the fix, it sounds simple in theory. So it's groundwork. We're going to work on clarity so that they understand what we want. But if you do groundwork too passively, it's not going to change anything.
Right.
And if you do groundwork too aggressively, you're going to create fear. And then lastly, or the final thought for that part is that there's a middle ground. It's the perfect middle ground where you're going to be making progress and helping your donkey understand with clarity of what the expectations are.
Yeah.
And that's where the timing matters. And we deal with that. Like you could have one donkey where you get out a flag and it moves pretty easily from it. Then you get another donkey and you could wave that flag around like so dramatically, and the donkey just stands there like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, you can flop around like the flags, like you're trying to land an airplane, and they're just like, yeah.
And so that's hard. So with those donkeys, you have to reward them at the right time to help them understand what you want. Because once they understand and they have clarity, they're going to work for you. Donkeys are amazing with how hard they'll work for you, but they have to have that general understanding, that clarity of what the question is.
Yep.
How
And
to
like,
find it.
that is similar with most equines. They do crave gentle leadership.
Yes.
They want you to communicate clearly and offer firm, gentle leadership.
And when you do that, like, this was a horse, but Stein he was pretty sensitive, pretty reactive. And I did not understand that I needed to firm up with him. So I was at the Thai clinic, my mentor, right? I'm at the Thai clinic and we're working on this one exercise and I was really having trouble with it. And Ty's like, well, no, right there. You need to get super duper firm. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be mean. And I got firm, and you know what he did? He got a little light on his feet, his front feet. And after that, it was the lowest his head has ever been. His eyes were so sleepy. Now that's a horse. You remember with the donkey, we're dealing with the opposite, right? Where a horse, we're trying to get, not all the time, we're trying to get their energy down, but with the donkey, we're
Yep.
trying to get their energy up.
Yep.
So it's just the other end of the spectrum. So we're not going to fix any of this stuff with one big correction. It's a whole bunch of small wins. That's how we're going to help the donkey understand the clarity.
Yes. Sometimes it's one hair at a time.
Yeah. That's how it was with Elton today, working with his back feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would make progress, and then we would go backwards, and then we would make progress, and then we go backwards.
She has to work with all the hard donkeys. So I get to work with the
easy
the
ones.
fun animated donkeys who are really into it.
Now, when do you see the biggest change working with the donkeys?
Me personally?
Yeah.
There's just a paradigm shift. I was giggling about it earlier when we were down there. It's somewhere around the time when you're starting to work on picking up their back feet. Right in around there. You're not even maybe not even successfully doing it yet. But you know this donkey's not going to kick you to China. And the donkey knows you're not going to eat them. So now you're learning to communicate. It seems like at that point, everything else gets really easy.
Because the clarity is coming into focus, right? Like you're looking through binoculars and trying to turn the little dial,
Yeah.
right? And then all
Like,
of a sudden, you can
yes.
see.
I mean, today, like the little girl today, number 12, she knows she's getting it down with those. Remember that her front left was so hard. We got a bazillion hours.
She would try to bite.
Yeah, she tried to bite you when you work with her front left leg. Now she understands completely what we're doing. You go and stand near that front left shoulder, further away than you need to be, and literally ask, "Are you ready?" And it'll jolly around her brain for a second, and pretty soon, what is she doing? She's sidestepping towards you to give you that left foot, because she now knows I'm going to slide my hand down that leg, get to her ankle, and ask for a foot. With a teeny, when she starts to lift it up, I help her. I hold that foot. I put it back down gently, and she gets a mouthful of oats. She has that figured out through clarity.
One
And
time,
man, she gets so proud too. Like, I did it.
she does get
She
proud.
gets so proud. Yeah.
That was like 2 times ago, I think, when I was working with her. She will come so that you are working on her right side, and she'll do that a time or 4. And then she comes out and then back. So she's like, okay, take this foot now. She just cracks me up. I don't think we've had a donkey do that. Like, totally, they intentionally switch sides. Sarah's with us. Thanks for watching, Sarah.
Hey, how you doing?
So I love how they are intentional about what they want. Like, she's offering clarity when she says, all right, I'm ready for you to work with my other foot now. This foot needs a break, but you could have this one.
It's pretty cute. It's like a toddler. Like you're touching a toddler's arm. Pretty soon, a toddler's bored with having an arm touched, and they're like, they hand off their other arm. Do this one. Yeah.
We're thankful you're here.
We're
If
glad
you have
you're here.
questions, make sure you put them in the chat. 'Cause
You bet.
That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, we love questions. It makes
Yes.
us really, really appreciate what we do.
Heck yeah. Now, for clarity, we have to be consistent. Okay, so like right now with this little girl that Dan's talking about, number 12, when we go down there, she accepts halters, she leads, she picks up her feet, and she goes in the trailer. So she's doing all that stuff. She's ready for her graduation video. Will probably be tomorrow. But when we go down there, and then when her new owner has her, it's like super important that there's consistency and clarity in our expectations. So when we go down there and we catch her and brush her and lead her and pick up her feet, like you can go through all that stuff in just like, I don't know, a minute. Sometimes. And then sometimes you come down there and they're like, I'm feeling off, and you're going to need a whole hour just to catch me.
Yeah, the wind is from a different direction, and that car didn't used to be there.
Now, when that happens, we're going to offer clarity, because we're going to start where they need to start, and we're not going to go through all of the steps. We're not going to try to load them in the trailer when we can't even put a halter on them.
Yes, if you spend 20 minutes getting a halter on, That is not the day to practice halter train or trailer loading.
Right, because you've already maxed out
Yeah.
their thinking potential. What was I doing? Oh, I was working on the website, guys. I sent out, what was it? A newsletter. Do you remember how stressed out I was doing that newsletter?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. I wrote my very first newsletter for Famous Seamus Farm, and I have never sent out a newsletter before, so I was pretty overwhelmed. When I got done with that newsletter, I told Dan I can't tilt my head at all because my brains might just ooze out of my head. Like my brain was shot from doing that. And when something like that happens to me, it makes me think of the donkeys. Like when we just got done asking them to halter and they were really nervous about it or pick up the feet, whatever the task was, and their brain is turned to mush, well, that's not the time to pile on more stuff.
Right. Right. It's just like relating that, yeah, into human language. An overwhelmed donkey who's just struggled with the task of getting haltered. No different than a human who's late for work and a kid pooped his pants and the car won't start, then it's got a flat tire, and you have a review at work that afternoon. That is not a good time to learn something new.
Right.
Okay, that is where it's actually helpful to do something easy that you can do. You can make a cup of coffee and you can enjoy that cup of coffee driving to work after your flat tire has been fixed and the baby's been changed. So, when it's stressful, it's important to go back to something that they can easily do, something easy to say yes to. It is not the time to throw new tasks at them.
Absolutely. So think about that next time you're doing something that's stressing you out to the max. We need to be clear in our expectations, and we also need to be fair. So just go in the realm of that they're capable of at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. The trainers we all look to will always say, work with the animal you have right now.
Yes, and that's so true. And I see it like the wind will be out of a different direction, and now the animals are all out of sorts. It's like, what's going on?
Then they can, when we're gentling wilds, it's literally the wind is from a different direction. Now there's new smells. These aren't the same smells they've been smelling for 3 days. Now they got a new smell. It could be a dog they never smelled before, or we've got mountain lions around here. Maybe a mountain lion peed a half mile to the south of here and they've never smelled it before. Little things that we can't see do affect them.
But what we have to remember as the people is these little things that bother them now, if we teach them good coping skills, they're not going to bother them later on. Like if I go catch Ah, who is a wild donkey, we brought her home in 2023. She doesn't care about the smells from other areas, right?
Right.
Like that's not a big deal. But 3 years ago it was. So we got to comment, continue breathing. Yes. Breathe in.
Yes.
Breathe out. That's so true. So true. All right. So we're working on small wins at that point. Wherever we're at, we're going to bring them up to wherever they can handle, where we start to max them out, and then we're going to bring them back down that ladder that we just climbed.
Yep.
So that we're leaving their mind in a good spot. That's creating more clarity for your donkey.
Yep. Absolutely.
It creates trust. It creates willingness to follow is probably a really good way to say it.
And willingness, that is a very, very important word in the donkey world. You're not going to make a donkey follow willingly. You can get them to follow willingly, but you're not going to make them follow willingly.
No.
You're not going to make them do anything. They're not going to, a little different than a horse.
So here's a question to you guys. Have you ever had a donkey that trusts you, but they crowd into you? It's real. It happens. Sometimes it's a defensive mechanism with them.
It is, yes. Keep your friends closer and enemies closer.
Sometimes it's just that they want attention.
We've had some wild ones that when they were we're like starting to work with handling front legs and you get alongside that shoulder, that, yeah, rather than lean away, they would lean into us. So that was kind of, I think, a defensive measure.
It's totally, they use their heads as a defensive, like, their heads are big and strong. Their necks are so strong. So it's completely, it can be a defensive thing. Like when I was working with Elton today, and if you guys have a donkey that's like this, don't worry, they're going to get over it. Just keep at it, right? But when I'm on Elton's right side, his head goes down at a little bit of an angle. It's a defensive posture. He's nervous on his right side. So you know what that means? I need to slow down. And I probably, every time I come up to the house from working at the barn, it's like, what do I need to do to help this donkey? Whichever one I'm working with that's having an obstacle. Typically, the answer is to slow down,
Yep.
right? So,
Yeah, slow down and work on the problem. Don't hope it goes away. You know, it was about a week ago. The little girl we're so proud of today, you know, it was, no, she's going to be a 2-person donkey working with those front feet with a halter and lead rope to protect the person handling a foot, and a lot of long stick work. Because remember, this is a donkey who a week ago very clearly, I mean, sent me a very clear memo in black and white with exclamation points. I am going to bite you if you do that again.
and she did. You would hear her teeth chomp sometimes.
You hear chomp. I mean, this far from. I mean, so she very clearly communicated to us that there's an issue with us handling that front left foot.
Now, is that something to scold them for?
Not at all. And I did not react to it. I'm like, noted.
That's exactly the right mindset to have, guys.
Yep.
Noted. You're noting that they are nervous or uncomfortable, and you're not going to be upset with them. They're a wild animal, or maybe they're not a wild animal. It doesn't matter because they're still nervous and they're communicating the only way they know how.
Yep.
So then all we can do is back up to help them be comfortable with where we're at.
And now when she's done with that front left foot, she sticks her head up. She's so proud that she held it together to have that foot picked up and held. Yeah.
Like a little kid showing you
It's
the
just,
artwork.
yeah, look what I can do. Yeah, she's pretty cute.
So next thing I want you guys to think about is, do you think trust automatically creates respect? I think a lot of people do think once they trust me, they'll do what I ask them to do.
You know, sometimes we've had donkeys who are very polite and courteous and will. But that's not normal.
No, it's not normal. Those are exceptional donkeys. Typically, though, what they need that clarity to understand what we're asking. Because at first, it's kind of nerve-wracking. Like, why are you asking me this? Why do you want my foot? Why do you want to play with my tail?
Yeah.
Like,
why would you put your hand there?
you want to put your hand in my mouth?
Yeah.
Like, why? You're weird. And then, do you feel confident reading intention? Do you feel confident reading intention?
75% of the time.
I feel pretty confident reading intention now. However, like doing the master class and stuff with Ty, I mean, like I've been like studying intention like a ton, right? With having so many wild donkeys, you helped me with almost every single wild donkey that we have ever had on the property, right? You played a role in it. I feel good. I feel confident reading. Like when Elton right now is lowering his head and then cocking it, just not a lot, just a little bit. I'm like, yeah, you're in a defensive posture.
Reading intent. Now we've probably seen some TikTok videos of people sitting with their horse and getting kicked in the head because they didn't see the horse backing up and they patted his butt. Maybe you've seen that video out there. It's pretty horrid. Reading intent can save a lot of heartache and setbacks. The dark one of the girls that we own, the dark, big brown one.
Oh, okay. I think I named them.
Nada or Nita or
Nula and Nada. Tell me
So-
if you like my names that I picked out.
So that one, we're doing the bowl of food in the middle of the pen. How close can you come to me to eat it? And it was cold and windy today, and I thought, well, I'm gonna bring a chair and I'm just gonna sit down. And I sat in that chair, put the bowl of food 4 feet away from me, and she was eating that far away when I was standing. But sometimes a chair can weird them out, and it kind of weirded her out. So she still wanted to come to that food, so she did a half circle, and then faced away from me, and then started backing at me. So I read the intention that she's about 2 steps from being striking distance if she chose to kick me. I got out of that chair.
There's no reason to push that.
Yeah. And then I went and got the training flag. Went back to the chair. And just by having that flag to go, she realized that, no, this is not the right way to get to those outs. So then she started coming straight on. But she never really got over the chair. But it felt good to sit down for a while, and I got rid of the chair maybe after 10 minutes. But
Sometimes
there's
we're down
something,
there
guys.
for hours.
Reading intent. Let's just say I was reading a book or scrolling on Facebook, and I hadn't realized what this donkey was up to. There was an opportunity to get a cheap. She could have kicked me flat out. And she's a big donkey. She's 13 hands and big, thick legs, and she seems really nice. But that was a gesture of her backing towards me because I was interfering with her dish of food, and so that's, in my perspective, reading intention.
That's totally what reading
Yes,
intention is.
yes.
Absolutely.
When a little girl that demonstrated that she will bite me if I do that again. Now, I took that as a very clear message, and I took it seriously. And you guys take it seriously because I'm pretty certain, and I have been wrong a few times, but I'm not wrong this time. Had I continued to do what I was doing after ignoring that clearly communicated intention, I would have a big bruise on the back of my arm from being bit by a donkey. And that would have been my fault. Absolutely.
So intention, because donkeys are so stoic, intention shows up in very small ways that we have to pay attention to. So would we get a name idea?
No, Stephen Adaminsky,
Oh yeah. Hey Steve.
Murphy the donkey. We'll let you know he doesn't like something. He'll signal first. If you don't listen, he will bite. He is nice. You just got to listen. He tries to let you know. Yes, they do. Good job to you for paying attention.
Right?
That's one less war story you have to tell by listening to your donkey.
There's a name idea in here too. How do you
Telluric.
make that part go away? I'm trying to read the comments, guys.
Telluride.
Telluride to get going faster.
Oh my gosh.
That would be a fun name.
Telluride to get going faster. Oh my God. That's a ski village in Colorado.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, very popular tourist destination. Yeah.
I live in a bubble. I don't know all these things.
Yeah.
So, Nula and Nuda, they stand for new light ass and new dark ass. Nula and Nuda. Because we have a weird sense of humor.
And we have to come up with a lot of names.
We do, yeah.
We're running behind me. We're coming.
12 and 72 don't have names yet.
Yeah, 35.
Oh, and 35. Yeah, 35. He's going to pastor. I always say it wrong. Pastor. And he is going to be like a reach out donkey to help kiddos. Like they go and with the donkeys and read books at schools and stuff like that. Like that is so cool.
Yes.
I'm just so excited for 35. He's going to be a good match for that.
Yes, he's the right guy for the job.
Now, that's something, all of our donkeys have different personalities. So when we're reading intentions, the same thing, like if you have 3 donkeys that all do the same thing, the intentions could be different behind all 3 donkeys. Because you
Absolutely.
have, like remember when I sat down on the tire with Tony in the pen when he first got here? He about jumped over the fence. So he was not like, he did not turn in position to kick me. He was getting ready to get out of there, right? I could have got kicked on accident, but his intention wasn't to kick. So every donkey has a different personality and their intentions can be different. So the same, like pinning ears could mean different things from different donkeys. What kind of a comment?
Sarah said Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid is a good name.
Yes,
too.
Billy the Kid. And actually, let's take that one step further. The crew from Young Guns.
Oh, to do like a theme of Young Guns?
Yeah, because there's a whole
I
bunch
like
of
that
the
idea.
little young outlaw guys. So yes, Sarah, when we get a group of geldings, we're gonna have to go with the
Young Gun.
young guns. Yeah,
I like
Yep.
that. You know,
Yep.
35 does kind of look like a Billy, but we definitely need to
does.
come up with some more.
but he's got a new owner now, so we'll let him.
He's not far from graduating, so we haven't even started with his feet yet, but he's so comfortable that I think that his feet are going to go really easily. The difference in pinning, can you explain the difference in the pinning of the ears? Okay, so pinning ears truly would be like plastered to their neck. Okay, that's true
Straight
pinning.
back, yeah, straight back.
They can just turn their ears backwards because they're listening. That's not pinning. That's just listening behind them. But then pinning the ears, like Seamus, we were the farrier was out. You have a home for them now. So we have, Sarah, we have 4 that they're not spoken for yet. And the rest of them have homes. And then in March, we'll be going to get another load.
Yeah, we'll have more if we're out of donkeys, but either way, we're getting more donkeys in the middle of March.
Yep. So we'll always have donkeys. If you're ready for a wild donkey, you can come here because we're an adoption center. You can choose to get one that's unhandled or that we've already gentled. So you can take on the challenge of gentling it yourself or do it on your own. And then we have a camp, and we're going to do it as 3 days. We revamped that. So it was going to be a week long, but we wanted to make it more accessible to everybody. So now the camp will be 3 days, and you can, again, work with an unhandled or one that we already gentled. So if you guys want more details on that, let us know. But we revamped the whole camp. So when they're pinning their ears, they could be listening. Seamus, we had the farrier out, and Hannah was just being silly and running back and forth. And Seamus would, oh man, he looked like he could be a cow cutting donkey. He would turn on his haunches and run back and forth after her, but it was all play. He was just focused on her. He was not angry at all.
Watch other animals, horses, mules, donkeys, when they're bossing each other around. Their ears go back. And if it's in a hostile situation, it signals aggression to the other animal. And by having their ears back, if there's a biting contest, they're less likely to get a chunk of their ear missing.
We've had donkeys that are missing a large portions of their ears from biting them. The other part is the rest of their body language. Like, are they tense? Are they playful? Are they flicking their tail? I mean, I'm trying to think. So their ears, their tail, their tenseness, their lips, all of that signals their feelings. Where their head position is, low or high.
Yes.
So there's a lot to reading that.
Have you noticed with a donkey, it's different than a horse? When you get a high-headed horse, they're on alert. I'm noticing, like the little girl with her number 12 with those feet, when she's getting it right, she gets her head up high, like she's just so proud. Is that a little different than with a horse?
I'll watch more. I mean, a horse and a donkey both, when their head is low, they can't see off in the distance. So they put their head up higher so they can see further away. That's true for either horse, mule, donkey, all of them.
But a spent donkey, one that we should have stopped working with 5 minutes ago, oftentimes we've had them just lower their head and it's just like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I want to pout for a while. Whereas with a horse, if you've gone maybe 5 minutes too long, they get high-headed.
Yeah, Stein was always high-headed. But you're saying that you think they get high-headed. You think a donkey gets high-headed when what?
When they're feeling good about things.
I think that the position of a high head on a donkey can be deceptive. Because I've been paying attention to Richard. Like, we've been making. Oh, Matthew asked a question.
Okay, we're talking about when does that, if they're young, does that change lips, tightness and looseness?
No.
No. They can be a 2-year-old or a 20-year-old, and the lip positions and the wrinkles, we've seen it both.
In general, they mean the same thing. However, each donkey has their own personality, so you need to watch them when they're relaxed and not being asked any questions and compare their lips to themselves. So how is this donkey when A, B, and C is happening compared to D, E, and F, right? Like Richard, for example, he doesn't get a big parrot lip.
Right.
His teeth get so clenched that it looks like his teeth just might explode because he gets so tense. But he doesn't get the parrot lip. So you have to compare it to the donkey themselves, not to, You can say most of the time a parrot lip means that they're nervous. Most of the time a relaxed lip would be dangling, but an even lip can be nervous or relaxed. Yes, parrot lip. Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, that's got to be based on recognize what your donkey's lips look like relaxed without any sort of stress. Was just standing there daydreaming.
Now we brought in a Hoot today, and you noticed that she had a parrot lip, even though we weren't asking her any questions. However, when we took our break, she had diarrhea twice in the pen, which is just stress. She's learning coping skills. We didn't ask her a ton of questions, not at
It
all.
was just being brought in from the big pasture and having to live in a 24-foot pen for an afternoon. You know, that's I just whiteboarding. It's like a light bulb right now. I'm like, I remember saying that to you. I said, honey, you ever notice that Hoot's kind of got a parrot lip all the time? Well, probably not. We'll look when she's out in the pasture.
Right, because
That
we have
parrot-
to compare it to herself.
Yeah, because I'd never noticed that before. Now you pointed out that she was stressed. She had diarrhea from being in that pen, so she was under some duress.
Even though we hadn't asked her any questions yet.
Just being somewhere different. She's a bomb shelter baby who has no experience with nothing anywhere. So we brought her in to feed on a round bale with the wild donkeys. She's growing, and I'd like to see a little bit more weight on her. So she's living with the wild donkeys now, and it makes it easy for us to catch her and put her into a training pen during a day when we're.
Because our big donkeys, they don't get that unlimited hay, because
Right.
otherwise they'll get fat, right? Like donkeys get fat easily, but with the wild pen, they're all getting moved around a lot because they're all different ones are coming into training and going out of training and stuff like that. So let's see, what other kind of things? And you guys have more questions, make sure you ask them. That's what we're here for.
Matthew,
guys.
does that answer your question?
All right, so let's see, what other stuff do I have on my list? Oh, what do you do if they run at you? So if I have a donkey running after me, I'm gonna claim my space. So I'm just gonna like throw up my arms, okay?
Yep.
And then I'm gonna get back to doing groundwork. So some of these wild ones right now, we've been working on getting trust and not a lot of groundwork, right? So like with Elton, groundwork will be starting tomorrow because we need to balance it out.
If you've got one that suddenly runs at you, I don't know, don't scream or yell, but get big fast, get your arms up.
I guess I make a big noise. I do make one big noise. I don't turn and yell at them or hit them. I don't do anything like that. How do you stop nipping? Same thing. Get to the groundwork. So if I have one that's coming at me, let's pretend like your hand is the donkey's mouth. And pretend like you're nipping at my arm. I'm just gonna grab. So here, I'm putting my finger in his mouth to get him to release because we have some. And then I'm gonna play with his mouth. And then get to the groundwork. I don't scold it. I'm not gonna let him bite me, but I'm not gonna scold it. I'm gonna get to the groundwork. And
Yep.
people think that you can't do groundwork with a donkey because they don't move. You can absolutely do groundwork with a donkey.
Absolutely, and it will. That is some magic sauce right there. Groundwork with your donkey will greatly improve how everything else goes.
Now I have like a lot of videos, like groundwork for building muscle. I don't remember what the playlist is called, but there's hundreds of videos in there of that. So you guys have access to all of that groundwork type stuff. And then in the members one, yeah. Okay, and then I'll get to that. So and then the members, I break groundwork into each lesson like individually. So I'm breaking it down smaller. So if you want just a big overview, then you just go right to the groundwork playlist. And then if you want it, oh, and then Rosa, I think I have some good groundwork with Rosa. It's like a 5 video one. So kicking.
Yeah, so same with kicking, to do groundwork.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a donkey, a very memorable donkey named Squirrel who he had a good kick. He never kicked us, but he communicated.
He
very
kicked
clearly.
with intention to
Yeah,
kick your
he
head
made it
off.
very clear he could kick you to Chinatown. And that was a lot of groundwork.
So we were working with his legs with like the normal positive reinforcement stuff that we do. And Squirrel, I just released a video on Squirrel with his first trim because we trimmed him before he left. Now, Squirrel took 4 months to get through to because he was so kicky, and it wasn't just like go away, I don't want you here. It was a kick with intention. So we took longer, and when we were doing like the positive reinforcement, I'm like, I think we need more than just this. So I started doing more groundwork circles. And sometimes, guys, when you're doing this groundwork, you're gonna feel like pulling out your hair or screaming or sending a donkey to Chinatown yourself,
Right?
because it's not always easy, especially if you have one that's like doesn't feel like it needs to move for you. It can be hard, and that's where you have to be your timing to get that clarity of what you're asking, and they will work for you. And if you want extra help, you let me know. But you're going to do groundwork. So anytime you have something, if you think about it like trust and respect, you're going to be working on getting trust, and then they're not going to have respect. So now you got the nipping and the kicking or the pinning the ears, and then you're going to rebalance it out. And it's always going to be a constant thing. So that's where we talk about curiosity. That's like the first thing you need to get, especially for a wild donkey.
Yep.
Curiosity, connection. Then we're going to be working on clarity and cooperation, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So kind of, oh, you go, sorry.
Groundwork. I want to be real clear on this. I'm not talking about go put your donkey in a round pen and have it run in circles until it's sweaty. No, that is absolute not what we're saying. Get your donkey haltered, get a lead line on it. Don't have to be a big pen. It could be in your yard. And from what I've seen, so I'm really uncoordinated, so I lean on MaryJo to do this, and I benefit from the fruits of her labor. And this is from Ty. Clearing the fronts and rolling hinds. Okay. She's got videos on that. If you can clear the fronts, roll the hinds on that kicky donkey, it's going to help establish a balanced trust, respect relationship. I've watched it many times. I'll be like, all right, MaryJo, I need you to do some groundwork with this one. And she's very type A. She's got the recipe burned in her brain how to do exactly. And I get distracted by a leaf blowing by and I don't do it right. But I've seen the results of it again and again and again. And it makes the donkey I'm working with a lot easier to work with when it has some mutual respect.
Now, let's be clear, because if you're out there and you feel like you're all thumbs, you can do this too. You can do the groundwork, and you've done the
I
groundwork.
don't need to. I've got you.
Right? So you can do it. So if you're out there feeling like I can't do this, I'm all thumbs, can you repeat that? Okay, so clearing the front and rolling the hinds. So think about it as moving all four legs. So clearing the front is the front legs, rolling the hinds is the hind legs. So we're gonna stand, can we turn our chairs to face each other? Can we do this? Okay, so, we're not gonna be in the camera.
Well-
Okay, so if I'm standing on this side and Dan's the donkey, because he's okay.
Ass.
So I'm standing on this side and I'm gonna take the lead rope and I'm gonna put it here and I'm gonna tell him to move this leg this way where my hand is. Okay? And when he says, I don't know what you're saying, I'm gonna use my flag and guide him. I might walk forward, I might make some movement with the flag, I might get him on his neck with the flag, and then he's gonna move his front leg where my hand is, because our hand is telling them where to put their foot.
But when you start doing this, just even a little lean in that direction is success.
It could be a lean in the wrong direction because now they're thinking and
Yes.
we want to reward the thinking part of their brain.
But they learn it pretty quick.
They do learn it pretty quick.
Yeah, they learn it pretty quick. It isn't a week-long project. It's gonna be a session or two, and they'll be getting it down.
And I've had donkeys where if I use my flag vigorously at all, like they'll rear up. And I've had donkeys where I absolutely have to use my flag vigorously because they refuse. Honk was one. She refused to move. Like I had to get firm to get that girl to move. Holy smokes. But now I just point and she goes, right?
Yep.
So that's where we're working. We're working on getting their mind thinking because with the donkey, especially with the donkey, we need their mind to be with us because they're not going to do it because we can force them. That's not how their mind thinks. They're like, I'm my own donkey. I can survive in the wild miles from my other donkey friends because I'm big and tough. Even if they're a little donkey, they still think that they're big and tough. So we have to get their minds willing to work with us.
Yep.
And then rolling the hinds is when the inside hind foot steps in front of the other hind foot. Okay, so that's like going in a circle. And I have videos on both of those. So we would teach them to clear the front And then we're going to build a circle. When you're building a circle and you're doing groundwork with the donkey, it starts with one step, guys. Don't think that you're going to have your donkey walk in an entire circle when you first start teaching them this.
Right, because they don't know it yet. It isn't like you just crack the code and now you can speak donkey. They have to learn what you're teaching them, and they do learn really, really fast. But understand that a little bit in the beginning is great.
When I am good about releasing the pressure on the try, they always give me more the next time.
Mm-hmm.
Richard, you guys have heard about Richard. We're making progress with him. It's still slow. You can see his face. But I got him to take seven steps towards me, and it's because he tilted his head an eighth of an inch. Of course, I didn't measure it. I'm not that much of a type A. He
Okay.
He tilted his head an eighth of an inch, and then I took steps away from him, and then he followed me 7 steps. And he followed me from in front of the barn all the way around the wild pens like a circle. He's starting to get some curiosity, and this is a donkey that's been very hard to get through to.
Yep. Now, when you're not working with him from 2 pens away, he just stands there and stares at MaryJo.
Mm-hmm.
Not at me, not at a hay bale, at MaryJo.
So we're going to get there, but we have to reward the smallest tries. So when you are asking your donkey to clear the front and they lean, reward it. Give them a 10-second break and then ask again. And then later on, you can build up to asking for more and better quality. Now, when I'm asking with the donkey, this is probably more for members, but I actually count. So I put my hand out where I want their foot to go. And then I count like to 10, 1,000, all the way up to 10, 1,000. Literally, I count, guys. And then when they still haven't done it, then I use my flag to help, or I walk forward, or a combination of the two. Now, like wild donkey, she only gets 1,000.
Is that all she gets?
Yeah, because she's past that. She doesn't need 10 seconds to think about it. She knows what we're doing. She has been doing groundwork for 3 years. So they don't always need 10 seconds. They don't always need you to stop after one ask, right? You don't always have to reward them for one step.
Right.
But at first you do.
You know, it's kind of like you have a young human whom you need to potty train. We brought this human home and you're going to let it live inside. When you start the potty training process, that little human gets rewarded if it even looks at the bathroom door. Okay, that's the first. That's the try, and then another reward when the little human takes a step towards the bathroom. We don't just go and throw a little human on the potty and say poop. With a donkey in donkey world, I'm using a human, but yeah. So think of that as if they even look at the bathroom door, that's a try in the right direction.
I remember when we used to drive up north to our cabin. It was like 4 hours from our house. We used to travel with the potty chair in the vehicle. Because when she had to go, and we're out in the country, right? So we would pull at that potty chair on the side of the road. Do you remember doing that?
Mm-hmm.
So of course we want them to be able to hold it till we can get to the bathroom. But when you are a teeny little human being,
Yep.
we're gonna try to set them up for success, right?
Yes. Yes. So yeah, that's just I like to use analogies. Just think of it as potty training a human, and a try is looking at the bathroom door. Don't expect full on going potty on a potty the first time you try or the 10th time you try it. It'll get there. It'll just take some time.
And their comfort will keep improving as they keep doing the task, right? If you guys were on last week, I'll retell this in case you weren't. But I told a story last week of when Hannah, our daughter, she would put on her lip gloss, and she's a little girl. So she get her lip gloss on. And think about this as far as your donkey's comfort. So she gets her lip gloss on, and then she'd talk like this because she didn't want to touch her lips together. So she would talk like this until it wore off, right? Now when you're asking your donkey to pick up its foot and it's all weird, it's just because it's not comfortable yet. Because later on, Hannah would put on her lip gloss or her chapstick, and guess what? She talks just normal, right? But when she was a little girl and she was learning, she was weird and awkward about it. And your donkey is going to be weird and awkward to start off with, and then they're going to get more comfortable and they're not going to have to think about things, right? And that's what we're always working towards. We're working towards helping them be comfortable, helping them be confident, have good coping skills. You're not going to have to count and offer them a 10-second window of time to think for the rest of their life. It's just during the teaching phase. Will the quarantine for lantern fly change how you move the burros? I don't think I know about that quarantine.
For lantern flies, it's the first I've heard of it.
Okay, so there was a different like virus going around.
Yeah,
and
there was equine herpes there back in December and November.
So that one for moving the burros, it was just based on what the state was requiring. So each state was different, and I don't know about this one here, but each state has their own rules. So when that last virus went through, a normal health certificate would last for 30 days, and that one was only good for
72 hours.
72 hours. So we'll have to do it just based on whatever the rules are for the state of Montana and wherever you're at.
Right. Because we do a lot of interstate transport, so we have to follow all the recommended guidelines and regulations to keep from bugs and infections and stuff from spreading. But
Heck yeah.
it's the first I've heard of lanternfly. So
Yeah.
I'll thank you. I'll look into it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I don't have anything else, but have fun with your donkeys. Offer them a good deal. And try to be clear. Try to offer them clarity on what you're working with. They're going to thank you, and you are going to have so much more fun with them.
Absolutely. And I'm still going to use her to do the groundwork.
He always will.
I'll clean the fish. You have hands. You could clean a fish.
I've cleaned fish twice in my life.
I know, I've done groundwork 10 times in my life.
You guys are welcome. Have a great night.
You guys
We'll
have
see
a good
next-
night. We really appreciate you sitting through all this.
Oh.
If you think of questions.
I don't think we're going live next week.
Okay.
Or the week after. Because guess what? I'm going to Boyd Ranch Mule Days with Wild Donkey Ah.
Yep.
I'm going to go make a fool out of myself, and I'll try to get it on camera. All right, guys. I'll post when we're going live again, but I will be in Arizona for the next two Sundays.
Yep.
Have a good night, guys.
See you. Bye.
We appreciate you guys too. Bye.